Chosen one, understand this clearly and without hesitation. You did not arrive here by accident. This moment was not random, and this message was not released casually. Heaven itself has been watching the clock, waiting for the precise window in which your spirit would be receptive. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. God does not interrupt lives without reason, and He does not speak urgently unless timing truly matters. This word had to reach you now before Thursday morning because something has already begun to move in the unseen realm, and your response to it cannot be delayed. When God assigns urgency, it is never to create fear. It is to protect purpose. There are moments that are fragile, windows that do not remain open forever. Missed moments do not always return in the same form. Right now, decisions are forming around you, even if you are not fully aware of them yet. Conversations are being positioned. Doors are quietly preparing to open or close. What you discern in this moment will directly influence what you step into next. This is not pressure meant to overwhelm you. This is clarity meant to preserve you. You have felt it already. The unexplainable restlessness. The internal pressure that didn't match your circumstances. The sense that something is about to shift, but without clear details. That feeling was not anxiety. It was instruction knocking on the door of your awareness. Heaven has been saying, pay attention. There are patterns that must end, cycles that cannot continue, but weights that cannot follow you forward. Obedience in this season cannot wait for a better mood, a quieter environment, or more certainty. Thursday morning is not mystical or magical, but it is strategic. Timing in the spirit matters more than comfort. God is not asking you to run away from your life or make drastic external changes. He is asking you to adjust internally, to see differently, to interpret pressure, delay, and opportunity with maturity. Your mindset must shift before movement begins, because old thinking cannot safely carry new responsibility. If the mind is not ready, the blessing becomes a burden. What was meant to elevate you can exhaust you. What was meant to empower you can confuse you. This is why this word carries urgency. Opportunity is approaching, but readiness determines sustainability. God is not only concerned with bringing you into something new. He is deeply concerned with keeping you standing once you arrive there. He does not want success to destroy you, promotion to disorient you, or favor to expose areas that were never prepared. Adjust now, and what comes next will fit you. Ignore the adjustment, and what comes next may overwhelm you. Right now, God is calling for alignment, not panic. Alignment of thoughts, alignment of expectations, alignment of interpretation. The way you process pressure must mature. The way you interpret waiting must shift. The way you respond to uncertainty must deepen. Many people pray for change but resist transformation. They want new outcomes while holding on to old perspectives. God will not pour new wine into an unrenewed mind. This message is reaching you now because the window to adjust is open, but it will not stay open forever. You may not see visible movement yet, but that does not mean nothing is happening. The Spirit often moves before circumstances catch up. God prepares the inner world before He alters the outer one. He works quietly first, deeply first, invisibly first. What feels like stillness is often alignment in progress. What feels like delay is often protection from premature exposure. There are conversations you have not had yet that will matter. Decisions you have not made yet that will carry weight. Opportunities you have not seen yet that will require discernment. God is positioning you so that when those moments arrive, you respond from clarity instead of confusion, from faith instead of fear, from wisdom instead of impulse. This is why the adjustment must happen now. Do not misinterpret this urgency as threat. This is not God warning you of loss. This is God inviting you into preparation. He is guarding you by speaking early. He is loving you by not allowing you to walk blindly into what is next. Heaven is not rushing you, but it is calling you to be attentive. There is a difference. Rushing creates anxiety. Attentiveness creates readiness. Right now, patterns are breaking even as you listen. Old mindsets are being exposed. Internal resistance is being revealed so it can be healed. God is not condemning you for where you are. He is equipping you for where you are going. But equipping requires cooperation. Awareness is the first step, agreement is the second, obedience is the third. If your spirit recognizes this word, do not ignore that confirmation. Respond. Agreement activates alignment. When you respond in faith, you signal readiness in the spirit. You are not just listening to a message. You are stepping into a moment of divine awareness. Heaven responds to those who pay attention. Stay present. Do not scroll away mentally or spiritually. This moment matters more than it appears. What God is preparing to reveal next will only make sense if this foundation is set first. The shift you have been sensing is real. The urgency you have been feeling is intentional. And the timing is not late, it is precise. This is the beginning of understanding, not the end of waiting. What comes next requires a prepared mind, a guarded heart, and a willing spirit. And that preparation starts now. You have been carrying questions you never fully spoke out loud, thoughts you pushed aside because you didn't know how to bring them into prayer without sounding uncertain. You learned how to keep moving, how to function, how to smile when needed, even while something unresolved lingered quietly inside. At night, when distractions faded, those thoughts grew louder. The waiting felt heavier than you expected, and the silence felt longer than you were prepared for. These were not imaginary struggles. They were real, and they shaped you more than you realize. There were moments when you wondered if God had overlooked you. Not because your faith disappeared, but because you could not understand why others seemed to move forward while you remained in the same place. You questioned timing, not God's character, yet the confusion still hurt. Scripture says that God knew you before you were formed, which means your story did not begin with your current circumstances. It began with intention. God's awareness of you existed long before your awareness of Him, and that truth changes how delay must be interpreted. Delay is not denial. What you call waiting is often preparation that cannot be rushed. God does not postpone what He has forgotten. He prepares what He intends to sustain. Silence does not mean absence. Some of the deepest work God does happens in seasons where He speaks the least, because faith matures when it learns to trust without constant reassurance. Roots grow quietly. Foundations are laid without noise. What is being built beneath the surface determines how much weight you will be able to carry later. You may not realize it yet, but this season has been shaping discernment in you. It has been teaching you how to listen, how to wait, how to respond instead of react. Humility has been forming, endurance has been strengthening, depth has been developing. Nothing surrendered to God is ever wasted. Even unanswered prayers refine the heart when they are laid before Him instead of used as evidence against Him. Chosen ones are often misunderstood. Restraint is mistaken for weakness. Waiting is interpreted as failure. Others may not see the weight of calling that requires careful handling. Pressure reveals capacity, and testing exposes readiness. God does not test to harm. He tests to confirm what can be trusted. What He intends to release into your life cannot be handled casually. It must arrive at the right time, in the right vessel, with the right foundation. Preparation always precedes promotion. Pressure is not proof that something is wrong. It is proof that something matters. Destiny attracts resistance long before it attracts reward. If there were nothing significant ahead of you, there would be no need for refinement. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are shaped under weight, heat, and time. What makes them valuable is not how gently they were treated, but how much pressure they endured without losing their essence. In the same way, God is not just shaping brilliance in you, He is shaping durability. This season has been clarifying what belongs in your future and what does not. Some attachments cannot survive where you are going. Some habits, relationships, and expectations were never meant to cross into the next chapter. Pressure exposes what is unnecessary and strengthens what is essential. God uses it to clarify, not to crush. What cannot survive this season was never meant to accompany you into the next one. The struggle you feel now is not the full story. It is a chapter, not the conclusion. present discomfort cannot compare to future glory. The scale is intentionally uneven. The reward will outweigh the pain. God allows contrast so that fulfillment can be recognized when it arrives. Without darkness, light would go unnoticed. Without delay, arrival would feel ordinary. This is not God being cruel. This is God being intentional. Waiting is divine protection. God delays release when development is still in progress, because premature exposure can damage what is still forming. Consider how many have been elevated before they were ready and collapsed under the weight of what they prayed for. God loves you too much to allow that. What He is building in you now will soon explain why this season had to be this way. Silence does not mean God stopped speaking. It often means instruction is happening beneath the surface. Some lessons cannot be taught through words. They must be lived, endured, and processed internally. God does some of His most important work where there is no applause. When external noise fades, internal transformation intensifies. You are not behind. Life is not a competition where you missed the starting signal. Heaven's clock does not operate on human urgency. God is never early and never late. He is precise. What arrives in His time carries peace instead of panic. If it required you to rush, strain, or compromise, it would not be from Him. You are not forgotten. Silence does not erase remembrance. If you are still breathing, your purpose is still active. God does not lose track of what He has marked. Even now, circumstances are shifting quietly. Paths are being redirected. Decisions are being influenced in ways you cannot yet see. What feels still on the surface is moving underneath by divine arrangement. One day, you will look back at this season and recognize that it was necessary, not punishing. It taught you trust without control, patience without certainty, and faith without constant confirmation. What once felt stagnant will make sense. The waiting will reveal itself as wisdom. The silence will reveal itself as strength. So do not despise this season. Do not rush it away or label it as wasted time. It is shaping you for what comes next. What God is preparing to release will require the depth, clarity, and stability this season has been building. And when it arrives, you will not break under it. You will be able to stand. This moment is not an ending. It is a threshold. A threshold is the space between what has been and what is about to be, and it often feels uncomfortable because you can sense change without fully seeing it. Many people miss threshold moments because they appear ordinary on the surface. Nothing dramatic seems to happen, yet in the spirit everything is being decided. Right now you are closer than you think. The tension you feel is not confusion. It is transition. There are two paths your mindset can take in moments like this. One path leads to frustration. That mindset constantly questions the process, replays the past, and interprets delay as failure. It resists growth because growth often demands discomfort. It argues with timing instead of trusting it. That mindset keeps people spiritually exhausted and emotionally stuck. The other path leads to fulfillment. This mindset understands that preparation often feels like pressure and waiting often feels like weakness, even though neither is true. It chooses trust over control and faith over explanation. Choose hope deliberately. Hope is not pretending everything is fine. It is confidence that God is capable of changing what you cannot. Hope anchors you when circumstances feel unstable and keeps you from drifting into despair. Without hope, pressure turns into bitterness. With hope, pressure turns into expectation. Hope keeps your heart soft while your faith grows strong. Choose faith intentionally. Faith is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, resilient, and grounded. Faith stands on what God has spoken, not on what is currently visible. It does not need constant reassurance because it remembers past faithfulness. Faith allows you to wait without weakening and move without fear. When faith leads, uncertainty loses its power to intimidate you. Choose alignment courageously. Alignment means agreeing with God's direction even when it challenges your comfort or contradicts your preferences. It means adjusting your thoughts, reactions, and expectations so they match where God is leading you. Alignment requires humility because it often asks you to release control. But alignment always produces peace because resistance is what creates inner tension. Right now, guarding your inner life is essential. What you allow to live in your mind will eventually shape your decisions, your reactions, and your future. Thoughts are not harmless. Unchecked thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. This is why guarding your mind is not optional in this season. It is preparation. Pay attention to what you replay internally. Are you rehearsing fear, disappointment, and comparison, or are you rehearsing truth and promise? Speak life over yourself, even when circumstances look unchanged. Your words carry weight. What you declare consistently begins to form belief, and belief directs action. Language is not just expression, it is agreement. Refuse fear actively. Fear is loud, urgent, and demanding, but it is not authoritative. Fear tries to make tomorrow feel dangerous before it arrives. It feeds on attention and weakens resolve. You must confront it, not tolerate it. Fear has no legal right to govern a mind anchored in faith. Refuse comparison completely. Looking sideways will always distort your vision. You do not know the full story behind someone else's progress, and their timing has nothing to do with yours. Comparison drains gratitude and replaces faith with pressure. It causes you to measure your life by someone else's chapter, which will always leave you dissatisfied. Your path is custom designed. Walk it with confidence. Refuse doubt firmly. Doubt may knock, but it does not have to be invited in. Doubt questions what God has already confirmed. When doubt rises, return to what you know God has spoken, not what you feel in the moment. Feelings fluctuate. Truth remains. Standing on truth stabilizes the soul. Preparation must happen before the shift. You do not wait for circumstances to change before you change posture. You align internally so that when movement begins, you are not overwhelmed. Many people collapse under answered prayers because they prepared for the arrival but not for the responsibility. God is preparing you for both. When the mind catches fire with faith, fear loses its grip. Faith reshapes how you interpret pressure. What once felt threatening begins to feel purposeful. Uncertainty transforms into expectancy. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" faith asks, "What if God is working?" That shift alone changes everything. What you prepare for in secret will eventually show up openly. Private discipline produces public stability. Hidden obedience produces visible fruit. The work you are doing now, even if no one sees it, is not unnoticed by heaven. God rewards alignment, not performance. This season requires attentiveness, not anxiety. Stay present. Do not rush ahead mentally or emotionally. Do not disengage because clarity feels incomplete. Threshold moments demand patience. They ask you to remain grounded while transition unfolds. God often turns pages gently before revealing the next chapter. You are not being tested to fail. You are being trained to endure. What lies ahead requires more depth, more clarity, and more strength than what lies behind. That is why this season has been intentional. God is not finished with you. He does not abandon what He begins, and He does not discard what He carefully forms. Stay aligned, stay hopeful, stay ready. Readiness is not perfection, it is willingness. It is the decision to trust God even when details remain unclear. It is choosing obedience without full explanation. That posture attracts grace. Right now, things are shifting quietly. Doors are aligning. Paths are adjusting. What once felt stagnant will soon make sense. You will look back and recognize that this moment mattered more than you realized. The threshold you are standing on now will mark the beginning of a new chapter, not because circumstances suddenly changed, but because you did. Hold your peace. Guard your thoughts. Anchor your faith. What God promised has not expired. It is approaching, and it will arrive at the right time. Not rushed, not delayed, perfectly aligned. You are ready for what comes next because you allowed this season to shape you instead of harden you. And when the shift becomes visible, you will not be surprised. You will recognize it. You have been preparing for it all along.